Welcome to the Lean Solutions Podcast. This is the podcast that adds value to leaders by helping you improve performance using process improvement solutions with bottom line results. My name is Patrick Adams, and this season I'll be joined by three other amazing hosts, including Catherine McDonald from Ireland, Andy Olrich from Australia, and Shane Doffenbaugh from the United States. Join us as we bring you guests and experiences of lean practitioners from all over the world. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Lean Solutions Podcast, led by your hosts, Andy Olrich and myself, Patrick Adams. How's it going, Andy?
G'day, Patrick. Going great, mate. Thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited to discuss today's topic, tools versus culture. This is always a big one, out on social media with, hey, do we push the tools? Do we fix the culture? Like what's the right approach? And today we have a guest on the show that's an expert in this area that has a lot of experience in both of the two areas. But we're going to talk pretty heavily around culture. The true strength of an organization lies in its cultural foundation, right? A vibrant lean culture that embraces collaboration, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of improvement. A culture that values open communication, employee empowerment, and commitment to learning enables teams to leverage tools effectively and adapt to evolving challenges. So this is going to be the focus for today. So I'm excited that we're joined by our guest, Ryan Tierney. And Andy, do you want to do a quick intro for Ryan before he pops on?
For sure. Really excited. So Ryan's a lean enthusiast and co-owner of global seating manufacturer Seating Matters, experts in clinical seating, and they're world renowned for their commitment to operational excellence and lean principles. So beyond his role at Seating Matters, Ryan's the visionary founder of Lean Made Simple. And he's a host of the Lean Made Simple podcast, where he shares invaluable insights into the power of lean thinking. So this podcast has really soared to prominence, and it ranked number 5 in UK business podcasts and has garnered a dedicated following of listeners from all around the world. And just recently, Ryan's YouTube channel has reached over 5,000 subscribers and over 1 million views. Wow. It's awesome. And Ryan's teachings have inspired thousands of organizations to embrace continuous improvement by simplifying the message of lean. So, hey, welcome, Ryan.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Andy. Brilliant to be on the show.
Yeah, super excited. So, as we like to do, we like to just unpack a little bit more about you, mate. So, yeah, I'd love to know what's your story and how did you find out about lean and what's led you here today?
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting story. Back 9 years ago, it's actually 9 years ago last week. We run a company called Seating Matters. We make therapeutic seating for nursing homes and hospitals, and I'm predominantly on the operations side of the business. It's myself and my two brothers that own the company, and the company really wasn't running well at all. Loads of production issues, loads of people issues, loads of quality problems. The place was dark, the place was gloomy, the place was dirty. I mean, if you imagine the worst company you've ever seen, we were that company.
Oh.
We absolutely were that company. I was really stressed. I was overworked. I was doing really long hours. And it was just after my father passed away, actually. And he was only 52 when he passed away.
Hmm.
And when he passed away, I was 26. I was exactly half his age.
Hmm.
Everything came to a head, and I said, there has to be a better way. I can't keep running the business like this. And I went home one night and I got my iPad at my kitchen table, and I brought out the iPad and I started to type in how to manage a factory, how to run production, how to streamline processes. I had no idea even what I was trying to search for.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, I came across this thing called lean. And I'd never really heard of it before, didn't know what it was. And it's like a switch, something switched that night in my brain, in my mind. And it lit a fire that has never went out. Mm. Something changed that night. And I went in the next day to our company And I said, you have to see this thing called lean. It's unbelievable. This is the key. This is the tool that we have been looking for. And thankfully, it sparked a personal passion that has been going on for the last 9 years.
Wow. That's amazing. I have so many questions right now.
Me too.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I want to, you work in a family-owned business. You work with your brothers, and I actually was going to ask you, was your dad part of the business as well, or was it something that was started by you and your brothers?
He was, yes. In the early days, he was an engineer. Our mother is an occupational therapist. So she's seen the need for this type of seating for her clients. And my father was really good at, engineering and woodwork and that type of thing. So it was kind of like a family affair.
Okay.
Mother seen the need, her father kind of knew how to design the first one. And myself and my two brothers always wanted to start a business. We really did. Always passionate about business and doing something together. So the three of us joined up and started supplying chairs to our mother's customers and then further afield. And it started really, really small in a small kind of workshop behind our family home, really small, like a small shed. And it's grown to what it is today.
That's amazing. And I've seen some of your videos, Ryan, and I mean it's pretty amazing what you guys do and what you've been able to accomplish. Just thinking back to those first years. I mean, I'd love to hear from you about the first couple years. You talked about it being tough, and working in a family business. For those that are listening in today, some probably work in family businesses, others maybe have heard, but it's not easy, right? There's a whole nother dynamic that comes into the managing of the business that you have to deal with, and it can create some serious frustrations and stress, not just in the workplace, but even in your personal life, right? I mean, it's not like you're leaving work at work. You're talking about it at Thanksgiving dinner or during the holidays, right? I mean, what did those first 2 years look like for you guys?
Exactly. It was really a struggle, an uphill battle, trying to start a business. We actually started the business in 2008, the worst time you could have started a business, probably in the history of business. So we started right in the middle of a recession. It took a lot of work, a lot of effort to get it off the ground. But thankfully, with persistence and hard work and really good people around us, we made it work. But yeah, definitely, when you bring that family dynamic into it, it's a whole other conversation. But thankfully, we got through it and we really made it work. Yeah.
And before I let Andy jump in, can you just let our listeners know like what size of company are we talking about at this point? I mean, give us kind of a view of what your factory looks like that you walk into and that you work in and day out.
Yeah, so right now we manufacture our product in Northern Ireland. We distribute all over the world, but mainly Australia, America, and Europe, Canada as well. All manufacturing is done in Northern Ireland. We've got a team of about 70 people here, and we've got about another team of 40 or 50 on the road in sales. So quite a big organization. It's grown from something very small to what it is today. And so, yeah, quite a success story. And the products that we're making are really helping to change people's lives. And there's a lot of emotion and a lot of passion behind what we do. So, yeah, that's kind of an overview of how big we are. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sure your dad is proud. I mean, what an amazing accomplishment you guys have, and again, the number of people that you're helping through the business is pretty amazing. So hats off to you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I second that. Just getting that business off the ground with the family dynamic, and then having the really unfortunate passing of your father to then probably accelerate that transition to the leadership of the company. And one of our hosts, Catherine, she's up in Ireland, so we'll have to get Catherine to pop over and say good day to your factory.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So that's the thing, coming through is the passion and that real sense of purpose and the products that you make around, changing or supporting people's lives in that space with the elderly or people with some accessibility challenges. So it's really good to hear someone's perspective of how they're using lean in that space to help improve people's lives. And just really keen to understand, Ryan, obviously that sounds to me, and it's clear that it's been a real success story for your business, but what about outside of that, Ryan? You said like a switch went off in your head in that really tough moment for you. What about in the rest of your life? Is there some examples or highlights you'd like to call out of where this has taken you?
Yeah, for me, lean is a way of thinking. It's a way of life. It's a way of behaving. It started off as a production manufacturing problem that I had, but I quickly realized that all of the lean concepts and all of the lean principles that we all know and love apply so much to our daily lives. Even personally, myself, back at the start when I found out about lean, I was so passionate about it. I just wanted to tell everybody about it, talk to everyone about it. It was just the missing link for us. But one of the things that was holding me back personally, and I don't think I've ever shared this before, one of the things that was holding me back was that I had never actually spoken to our entire team as a group before, because I personally didn't feel confident enough to do that.
Sure.
And if you look ahead now, 9 years, I've got a podcast, I'm doing YouTube videos, I'm speaking all over the world, I've got a book coming out. So the transformation in me as a leader and as a person has just been day and night, like black and white. It's unrecognizable from where I was 9 years ago. And I 100% put that down to lean. Lean really encouraged me to grow and develop as a person. And I think it is a lesson for anybody out there that has a real passion for anything, for any subject or any topic. If you really go for it, it really grows and develops you as a person. And then what that can do for the wider community, the amount of people that have taken lean on board since me sitting at my kitchen table 9 years ago. We've had hundreds and thousands of people that have came through our facility for a lean tour. And I just think back, like if I didn't come across lean that night on YouTube, the amount of people that wouldn't know about it is just crazy. So it's a lesson in self-confidence. It's a lesson in leadership. It's a lesson in being passionate about something and not stopping until you go where you want to go with it.
Wow.
That's awesome. And I have a question in around, we're talking about tools versus culture. I'll put my hand up. It happened to me, but when I first started really coming across a lot of lean information and things like that, how did you support yourself well so you didn't get lost in the tools and you weren't just going back and just throwing tools through the organization? How did you separate and really see that it's the cultural piece supported by the tools? I'd be fascinated to find out how you resisted the temptation to throw the toolbox upside down.
It's actually a really good question, and I've got a really good story actually. I was about 2 years into lean, came across lean on YouTube. It was Paul Akers actually that I came across first, and I was absolutely blown away by Paul's teachings and how simple Paul made lean. But we were 2 years into our lean journey, trying to use all the tools, setting up a Kanban system, 2-bin system, doing one-piece flow, just in time, standard work, all the tools that we all know about. And I went to visit a company in Germany, a company called Yellow Tools. And the owner of the company is a guy called Michael Althoff. And I went on a one-day tour of his facility, and we were walking around, and I was taking photographs of all the Kanban cards and the label system and the Kamishibai boards and all the tools. And I was getting fascinated by the tools. And Michael was showing us around, and he said, "Ryan, it's not about the tools, it's about the people." And I was like, yeah, I know, I get it. But 30 minutes later, he came back again and he said, "Ryan, why are you taking so many photographs? It's not about the tools, it's about the people." And I was like, "You've just said that 30 minutes ago. I get it." But at the end of the tour, I was just about to get into the taxi to go back to the airport, and Michael actually grabbed me by the arm because he knew I wasn't getting this. He could tell that I didn't get it, and he grabbed me by the arm, and I said, "Ryan, lean is a tool for growing and developing people. Lean is a tool for growing and developing people." So on the way back on the taxi journey and the plane journey, on the way home, I was really starting to think about what Michael meant by that. What did he really mean? And then it clicked. And I wondered, you know, I've heard it in all the books, I've seen it in videos, lean is a tool for growing and developing people, but I really didn't internalize it until Michael made it really clear to me. And now when people come to visit us for lean tours, they say, your people are so engaged, your people are so on fire. How do they make so many improvements? The confidence that they have, the ownership they have of their work area. And I say, it's because of lean. Lean is a tool for growing and developing people. So if we focus on the people, all the tools will look after themselves. We don't have to worry about Kanban. We don't have to worry about visual management. We don't have to worry about one-piece flow or standard operating procedures. That will all come if we grow and develop the people and develop a culture of continuous improvement. And I've actually come up with a diagram. It's hard to explain it now on a podcast, but it's in my new book about, I call it the PDS system, the People Development System. And basically, really simply, it's if you think about what lean is, we have an idea for an improvement, we make the improvement, and then we test it to see if it worked. That's really all we're doing. There's 3 steps. And then if it didn't work, no problem. Have another idea, test it to see if that worked. And then, it's a cycle of continuous improvement.
Love it.
Really, what we're doing when we're in the idea stage, the testing stage, the making the improvement stage, we're challenging our thinking. We're collaborating with other people. We're improving our communication skills. We're problem solving. And what this does for the person is grows and develops the person. And this all came from Michael Althoff during that tour. And it's why I'm so passionate about lean, because it's not about the tools. Yes, they're important, but I think everyone listening to this podcast should go back to their organization and focus on the culture, focus on growing and developing their people, and everything else looks after itself.
Right. So true. It made me think, Ryan, while you were talking about, I don't remember who said this, but something to the effect of, two executive leaders are talking, and one of them says to the other one, hey, I don't know that we should be pouring into our people so much, because what if we spend all this time training them and developing them and then they leave? And the other looks at him and he's like, well, I can understand that, but what if we don't pour into them and they stay?
Yeah.
Stuck in the same place. Yeah. Here we are. And then that led me to a question for you, just to expand on what you talked about. Love the story, by the way. What a great way. I mean, hats off to that guy too, right? I mean, that he took the time to actually talk with you about that, because I think there's so many organizations out there right now that, read a book or went and took a tour like you did, and they came back with like, hey, here's 5 tools we need to implement today. Like, these really worked at that organization, and they were doing some really cool stuff. And look at these pictures, and look what I read in this book. And we need to do this 10-step to change or whatever. For those people that are listening in, because I think there's a large number of people in organizations that have done that, and they're not seeing the results that they expected that they would see. And it sounds like you were a couple years in, maybe down the same path. So what did you do? Like, what did you scrap everything? Did you start over? Did you, what were your first steps when you got back to your factory and thought, okay, let's restart the right way?
Great question. Yeah, one of the things we started on and off at the start was morning meetings. We'd done morning meetings for a while, and to be honest, we stopped them because we thought it was a waste of time. And then after a few months, we started them again, and then we stopped them again. And after internalizing the idea that lean is about growing and developing people, and the fact that we need to set aside time to grow and develop people. And the best way to do that is at a morning meeting where we talk about lean principles. We show examples from other companies around the world that are doing lean. We talk about a lean principle. We might do a quiz with lean learning. We'll do a game and introduce lean learning. Some type of lean learning on a daily basis was the thing that really changed our culture. So people come here for tours all the time, and on the first tour, they've got their camera taking photographs. On the second tour, there's less photographs. On the third or fourth tour, they're like, it's not about all the stuff I'm taking photographs of, is it? And I'm like, no, it's not. But I think people have to go down the journey of thinking it's about the tools, to get excited about it. Then they realize, I don't think it's maybe possible to go straight to realizing that it's about the culture. I think there is a journey that people have to go down, because I think the tools and the visuals and the color coding gets people excited and it gets them hooked. And then they realize that it's actually about culture.
Right. Absolutely.
Ryan, do you have, say your employees, they're in this space now and they're leading the tours with the people that come through now? You've got some of your own people running those tours and telling their stories.
Yep, absolutely. I purposely don't do any of the tours anymore. I meet and greet people at the beginning, but every single person in the company is part of the tour, and they're telling their own story. And yeah,
I think that's so powerful that it's coming from people on the floor who have been through that. It's not the leader saying, this is my company and this is what we do. It's more of those people just out there, having to do it, sort of a thing. They're telling their stories. And I think that'd be, for me, that's where it cuts through a lot, is where you've actually got the people who are working in a company like that and they say, hey, maybe I wasn't on board before or whatever it is, but this is it. And you're actually paying your people to lead tours and make chairs. I think they'd have to get a kick out of that too, right?
100%. And for any company that is actively doing lean, I would encourage them to open their doors and let people come in, because there's so many benefits to hosting tours. It elevates the level of everything. The level of cleanliness, the standards goes up. People get better at communicating. It gives our people confidence when they know there's a tour coming. The benefit to opening up your doors and letting other people in to see what you're doing is it's priceless.
I love it. Yeah. We did, when I was I started out as a lean plant manager at Parker Hannifin. They make hydraulics, Parker fittings. Many people have heard of them. And then I eventually moved into a couple different roles, but I remember serving as a value stream manager in a plant, and we did something very similar where we actually had a tour route, and we had various Kaizen activities and different improvement projects and things happening on a regular basis. And so we would bring people in and tour all the time. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because the level of confidence that they get, and it was hard at first. I mean, there were people that were like, no way, I'm not going to talk to anybody. But then the moment you get a group over there and they're asking questions, you see that person who said they weren't going to talk and they're in the back and they're like, wanting to nudge themselves forward because they have all the answers. And, eventually they're out there talking and answering questions, and just the excitement that creates for the team and gives them, that kind of that reinforcement of, you guys are doing the right stuff, keep it up. And they just keep plowing away, and pretty amazing. So I love that you guys are doing that. And for anybody that is listening in, that's in the area, I'm sure you would open your doors and would love to have them come in. Hey everyone, I am sorry to interrupt this episode of the Lean Solutions podcast, but I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to our company, Lean Solutions. We exist to empower and equip people for positive change. We do this through our 3 pillars, which include training and development, coaching and consulting, and talent solutions. Whether you have specific areas for improvement or you're not really sure where to start, we can build tailored solutions and provide resources to meet your needs. send us an email at office@findleansolutions.com to begin your journey towards transformation. Now, back to the show. The question that I have, though, is just thinking about that person who in the beginning maybe is kind of standoffish, or I just want to come in and you tell me what to do, and I'm going to punch my clock and I'm going to be out of here at the end of the day, and I don't want to be part of any of this. I just want to come in and get a paycheck. I'm sure you had some of those people, and people that are listening in, I'm sure you know exactly who I'm talking about. Any advice for those? I mean, how do you, as you're developing people and you're developing this learning culture, how do you work with some of those people that are a little tougher to open up and be engaged like that?
Yeah, brilliant question. Just to give our listeners a bit of contrast. So 9 years ago, the first morning meeting was the most awkward event ever. There was no engagement. Nobody was speaking. Everyone had their arms folded, trying to hide behind somebody else. It was me standing there with 5 questions. Did we make any defects yesterday? Does anyone have any improvement opportunities? Total silence. Nobody spoke. Everybody thought this was so weird. Like, why are we standing in a group talking about what's this lean thing, and Ryan's crazy and this is never going to work in Limavady in Northern Ireland, and our factory is out in the country, very rural area. This was it was just the opposite of the way we thought. It absolutely was the opposite. And everybody kept saying to me, Ryan, it's not going to work. It's okay for the Japanese. It's okay for Americans. They're more outgoing. We're in Northern Ireland. This isn't going to work. And I said, it is. We just need to keep doing it. We need to keep at it. It's going to work. Fast forward 9 years, we have a company with 100% engagement. Every single person improves every day. We're taking before and after videos. They're going on the company WhatsApp group. We're sharing all our ideas. Our company is on fire with making improvements. The contrast from 9 years to now is just unbelievable. So I'm not saying that to boast and brag. I'm saying that to encourage people that are on this journey to keep going, because the benefits at the other end far outweigh all the effort. So back to your question of how did we do it? And I'm going to go back to a story that from my grandfather. So my grandfather was a sheep farmer. So in Ireland, there's lots of sheep farming. And a story that my grandfather always told and my father always told is that if you want to create change, to be a sheepdog as opposed to a bulldog. Okay. So when my grandfather wanted to round up all the sheep and get them all into the pen, the sheepdog would slowly go around the edge of the field, kind of, hide in the grass, not be, kind of slowly and surely went about their business. And the next thing you knew, surely but slowly, all the sheep were in the pen. There was no controversy. There was no big announcement. There was no big, this is what's happening. Whereas the bulldog goes in and splits all the sheep up. Mm-hmm. So I was very conscious that when we started to implement our lean culture, not to be a bulldog and to act like a sheepdog. So one by one, working with people one-on-one, getting them on board with making improvements, getting them on board with lean. And if somebody was saying, this is a load of rubbish, I'm not doing it, I said, no problem. Just give them a month, give them a couple of months. Don't focus on it. Go and work with the people that get it. And one by one, slowly but surely, every single person got on board with lean. And that's my advice to anybody wondering how to implement a cultural change, is be the sheepdog and not the bulldog.
I love that. Yeah. And I think you touched on there, you've got some champions within the business that you can then get those people to work with and be mentored by them, not so much Brian's the boss and I'm kind of in the naughty corner. I've got to work with him for 2 months now because I said I didn't like this or didn't know where it was going. So I think you've got lean champions or lighthouses and things in an organization. It's one of their own saying, actually, there's something in this. So that's the sheepdog. I love that. Thank you.
Powerful.
Okay. So Ryan, you've got lean made simple. All right. And I'm sure that just instantly draws people to it to go, oh, I think it's complex or tricky. Lean made simple. I'll have a look at this. In all of that, though, are there any shortcuts for this cultural piece? I'm sure you get it. People come to you and want a 2-second lean. There's things that get people on the hook, but is there a quicker way to do this?
I think there is. And as lean practitioners like us three on this call, we're always looking for to reduce the waste and get straight to the point. And there is a couple of things that can get you there quicker. There is, because for somebody listening to this podcast that is maybe at the beginning of their journey, it doesn't have to take you 9 years to get to where we are. You could do that in 3. So there absolutely is shortcuts. And one shortcut that I would say is that one person in the organization, doesn't have to be the owner, but a senior manager or somebody, has to be so passionate about this. I always say at the start, I had to fill myself up with as much knowledge as I could on lean to allow it to overflow to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody was going to tell me this won't work. Because I watched the videos, I read the books, I studied all this stuff. I went to Japan 4 times. I was bought in. I was absolutely bought in. So I think it takes that person that is really passionate about lean, passionate about cultural change, to really drive the change. So if you can find that one person in your company, if you can find that one person that their eyes light up when you start talking about lean, when their eyes light up when you show them a video from Lean Made Simple or from Fast Cap or from Paul Akers, there's something there. And then work with that person and really develop them, because I always say lean is hard work that makes everything easy. And it really is. It's hard work. There's nobody saying that this is an easy journey. It's not. But if you have people on board that get so excited about it, I think that's a fast track to implementing the change.
Awesome. What, in your experience, what wouldn't you take a shortcut on if you're building that culture? Is there a couple of, if you pick some things up, are happening maybe a little bit more rapidly than they should be? Any examples?
I always think teaching and training is not a distraction. It is a shortcut. So lots of companies come to visit us on lean tours and they say, what, you have a 30-minute morning meeting with 60, 70 people and they've got their calculator out and they're trying to add this up to see how much this costs. And my response is that teaching and training is a shortcut, not a distraction. So we have a morning meeting every single morning without fail. Then we go into improvement time where every single person has a dedicated, allocated time to physically go and work on improvements. And then we work. So there's absolutely no shortcut around that. You have to teach and train your people in order to get the results. And why the small improvements are so powerful, and it's really genius if you think about it. If we can get people engaging in the small things, then every so often somebody will come up with something that changes the whole business.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 years on, that's still happening for us. And that's why it's so exciting for me, because even like this week and last week, we're still getting big wins that we just never seen before. And they're all coming from the people that are on the Gamba.
Love it. Love it. Powerful. So amazing to hear and just, again, just listen to you talk about the stories and everything that's happening at your company. I see your videos out on YouTube, and obviously, you're writing a book and you're speaking at all these conferences and you're doing all these different things. I mean, why are you doing that? Why not just pour everything into your factory and just kind of keep it for the family business and make sure that you guys are doing well? Like why are you out there sharing everything? Because I don't think I paid anything to watch your videos on YouTube.
Yeah, we give so much stuff away for free. We've got the Lean Made Simple podcast that's going crazy, thousands of listeners. The YouTube channel is going crazy. And I think the reason it is so popular is that we're not doing it for money. We're not doing it for anything in return. And I think anybody that really internalizes lean gets that the whole point of this is to pay it forward. And I heard a quote one time that I really love, and I've never forgotten it. It's turn your mess into a message. So we had a mess. Our business was a mess. And instead of me holding on to that knowledge, I've turned my mess into a message.
Nice.
And I've inspired, or we, I'm not saying me, but we as a company, as an organization, has inspired hundreds of companies to wake up to lean thinking. And the fulfillment that we get from that and that I get from that is massive. And I'm just so passionate about it that I want more people to know about the power of this.
Love it. Love it. I do have one more question. I should have asked this one before that last one, but I want to go back real quick to something that you said about, and also tie in the tool conversation here, tools versus culture. Just coming back to that, your leadership team and you and your brothers are doing some very specific things. I heard you say you're doing before and after videos. You're posting them on your WhatsApp. You're doing your daily meetings. I mean, I'm hearing you explain leader standard work, like you have a structure behind what you do. And, this is a tool piece that I'm sure came about, again, as you developed your culture. But what, if we were to look at your leader standard work, if we were to go look at your calendar, what are the non-negotiables that you and your leadership team are doing daily or weekly that are, this is not something that we will not do. These will happen. What are those things?
Number one, I would say, is morning meeting with every person. Teach and train your people at a morning meeting. Number two, I would say, is get on the Gemba at least 50% of the time. I heard a good quote: the further from the Gemba decisions are made, the worse the decision will be. So it's about getting to the Gemba. If you've seen me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I've got my boots on. I'm on the shop floor. I'm in the welding area. I'm with the laser operator. I'm in the office doing something. I'm at final assembly with a quality issue. On the Gemba, working with your people is an absolute must. I believe, and it's my view, that we can't lead a lean transformation sitting in the boardroom. So morning meeting, get on the Gemba. And the third thing I think I would say is that to appreciate the tiniest improvement. We have people starting here and on their first week, they're making improvements. Why is that possible? Because the culture is so strong. I always say, if you can imagine a glass of pure orange juice, orange cordial, and there's one drop of water put in, it doesn't change the color of the orange because the culture is so strong. So when one person starts, they're making improvements on their first week because everybody around them is making improvements. But something we always were very deliberate about is to really appreciate those small improvements, especially in the early days of someone's career or someone's time working here, because that starts the cycle. And if they make the improvement, come up with an idea, make the improvement and get the feedback, there's endorphins there that they want to keep feeding. They want to keep feeding that cycle. And that's all we're doing, appreciating small things, which turn into big things.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I love, one of my favorite quotes is culture eats strategy for breakfast, and just, it ties it right in. And it's so true. This has been great, Ryan.
Love it.
Ryan, so we've talked about your YouTube channel. We're going to throw a link to your YouTube channel in the show notes. But you also have a book coming out, and you mentioned that a little bit earlier, but can you tell us a little bit about the book and when it's coming out and what people can expect with that?
Yeah, I've been working on the book for about a year. and it's probably 3-4 months away from being ready. It's hard to write a book on lean because I just want to keep improving it. So I just have to have a cutoff, and will probably be a version 2. But the book will be out in 3 or 4 months. And really, the book is about how we've made lean simple and made lean approachable and applicable to any organization. You don't have to be a manufacturer. You don't have to have knowledge. You don't have to have done your Six Sigma training or anything like that. The whole purpose of the book is to make lean accessible to loads of people. And I think that's what it's going to do. So yeah, really excited about the book.
Love it. Love it. And then if anyone's interested, check out your company. Where would they go to learn more about your company and what you guys do?
Yeah, so the Lean Made Simple website, you can check out all the things we're doing around lean on there. The company website, seatingmatters.com, SEATING matters. So you'll see all our products on there. And also LinkedIn. We love LinkedIn as well. YouTube. There's also the Lean Made Simple podcast is on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all the normal platforms. You can check that out as well. And yep, loads of ways to find out what we're doing.
Love it. Well, we're going to drop all those links in the show notes. So if anyone's interested, they can go to the show notes and find links to all your pages. I would definitely recommend going out and checking out the YouTube page and subscribing to the podcast because all it's going to do is continue to challenge you and make you better. So Ryan, it's been great to have you on. I'm inspired. I'm super inspired right now. I love the work that you guys are doing. Just really appreciate you sharing with the lean community and continuing to not just develop yourselves, but also to pour out to everyone else. And so thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, fantastic. I'd find it hard for anyone not to be inspired to keep going, like you said. It's been terrific.
Amazing.
All right. Take care. Appreciate you, Ryan.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Lean Solutions Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe. This way you'll get updates as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please give us a review. Thank you so much.